Alright, haven't made a video in 2 weeks, time to get back into the game. So, what's on the chopping block for today? Oh. Time to ruffle some feathers, I suppose. Or should I say, ruffle some fur? You guys are no fun. Hello everyone, my name's Aloubell, and in my recent mass movie binge, I saw Turning Red, the most recent Pixar movie. Given the movie's critiques before it even came out regarding its visual style, scenes in the trailers, and even the premise, so many people were ready to hate it. I'll admit, I didn't care for the visual style either. I still don't, but I was willing to ignore the critiques given that it's unfair to truly judge something without actually seeing it. Hey, for the record, when it comes to Miraculous, I judge it on mostly objective facts of the show. I may not have seen it, but I know so many objective facts of what goes on, like a lot of facts such as plot points, twists, etc., that I think it's fair for me to discuss some things about it. If I know how the story goes, I can critique the storytelling and its methods of expression. Besides, I am still ingesting the story in some capacity. I mean, at this point, I know at least 60 to 70% of Miraculous's story just by Instagram spoilers, the wiki, and word of mouth. However, there are things I can't comment on because I haven't seen it. I can't comment on animation errors, exact lines that were said, subtle facial expressions, and any other minute detail that could only be known by watchers. I discuss really broad objective facts. Having said that, it's because I know what I know about MLB that turns me off to it. Given that Turning Red was 100% new at the time and all I had to work off of were trailers and sneak peeks, I didn't have any objective facts about the story to judge it on, so I had to see it or ingest the full story in some way in order to give a fair opinion on it. As much as I didn't, and don't, prefer the art style, I was willing to give it a chance because I mostly trust Pixar when it comes to stories. Thus, I watched Turning Red with an open mind. And what are my thoughts? Well, before we get into it, if you're enjoying this video, then please transform into a big fluffy animal and push that like button with your paw so that the algorithm spreads this video to more people. And if you'd be so kind, please comment with the red envelope emoji. Much appreciated! Anyway, first I'll tell you about what I liked about Turning Red. The art style. Yeah, not a fan, but I don't hate it, and I appreciate Pixar branching out and trying something new in terms of how their character models look. And the animation itself is really smooth, and the colors throughout the movie are so lovely and vibrant. I heard the art style and art direction were inspired by anime, particularly Studio Ghibli, and I definitely see it, but I just can't get on board with it. It doesn't fully commit to the anime aesthetic, which hurts it a bit, I think, and the elements it does adopt just look awkward to me. The sparkly eyes and the irises and pupils shrinking with heightened emotions, among other anime-ish things, looks good on 2D characters, but not CG. At least not this kind of CG. It just looks so awkward. Such exaggerations can work in 2D shows and mediums because said medium allows you to stretch and squish characters that 3D usually doesn't allow. 3D animation and style typically tries to mimic realistic movements, textures, etc. And in real life, people's irises don't shrink. So seeing that on a 3D model, regardless of how cartoony it looks, is still weird. Plus, some things just translate better in 2D. These reasons are also part of why I don't like Miraculous Ladybug's art and animation style.
But Aloe, this doesn't sound like something you like about the movie at all.
Oh, but it is, Bell, it is, because I respect the attempt. As an artist who struggles with settling on her own art style, and who goes through phases of trying new things with my art style to see what sticks and what doesn't, I appreciate that Pixar tried something new, as clunky as it is. Something else I liked was the bond of the friend group. I always appreciate that, and it reminds me of the friend group I used to have as a teen. Next, seeing the aunties and grandmother turn into red pandas was a fun sequence, and on a similar note, Ming's ominous transformation was awesome as well. I also like the bamboo forest scene at the end. The bamboo forest itself is really pretty, but I like the development between May and her mother. Very great and sweet scene. It was also very appreciated that May's red panda was only kept a secret for a few minutes of the movie's runtime. Pretty much everyone knew about it, and we didn't have to go through the stereotypical situations and trying to hide it only for there to be a big reveal in the end. So good job there, storytellers. And that's it. Those things are well and good, but the negatives really bring this movie down for me to a point that I don't want to see it again. It's mainly two things that bother me. Number one, the relatability of the situations in this movie. The most relatable things in this movie were super cringy. There were so many instances of secondhand embarrassment that I couldn't stand it. Even aside from that, May's friend group reminded me of my old friend group.
So what?
You might ask.
Wouldn't that be a good thing for you to see yourself in these characters?
Not for me. Not in this case. My friends and I were exactly these girls. We had quirky, loud mannerisms that made us stick out from everyone. We gave each other nicknames based off of the anime we liked. We role-played as these characters. We would shout catchphrases from these anime, and we didn't care who we bothered. We talked about boys and our crushes. We never felt embarrassed. We just did what we did because it was fun and made sense to us. Almost every girl depicted in the friend group in Turning Red was represented in our group in some way.
What's wrong with that?
You might ask. What's wrong is that my friends and I were super cringe. We were so cringy. If someone videotaped us and our shenanigans, I would cringe out of existence if I ever had to sit and watch it. So why, oh why, would I want to watch this depicted in a movie? So this cringe, plus the cringe from the secondhand embarrassment from Ming towards May, led me to muting and turning on the subtitles and scrolling down from the screen a lot. And even fast forwarding a couple times just to avoid feeling that way. I can't stand cringe or secondhand embarrassment in any medium. Even if it contextually makes sense and is perfectly aligned with the story, I hate it. Even if the intention was for you to cringe, I still hate it.
But Aloe, that sounds more like a you problem than a problem with the movie.
I mean, yeah, it's called having my own experience with the movie. No one else has to agree or even feel what I feel. Look, if I have to go through a movie and mute it and look away so many times, then I just didn't enjoy myself and I wouldn't want to put myself through that again. That alone would keep me away from the movie, but no, we still have the next point. Number 2, the lesson in this movie and how it's executed are problematic. Let me read the transcript of what May's dad Gene tells her near the end of the movie. People have all kinds of sides to them, May. Okay, right, go on. And some sides are messy. Yep, that's true too. The point isn't to push the bad stuff away. Wait, what? It's to make room for it. Live with it. I have some concerns. May, erase it if you want, but this side of you makes me laugh. Okay, so what I think he's trying to say is that none of us are perfect and there's no way you can 100% live up to someone else's expectations without hurting yourself in the process. To deny your flaws and quirks is to deny yourself and any opportunity to live and grow. This is a good message. How he phrased it is not. For people who take words literally, his choice of words were very poor. If there's something about us or our actions that are absolutely bad, then yeah, you shouldn't ignore them, but you shouldn't embrace them either. They are bad for a reason. Yes, we have imperfections, but May's father specifically said bad stuff. To have imperfections is one thing, and it's even subjective. But if we know that something we are doing or something about us is bad without any doubt, then no, we don't make room for it, Gene. We work on ourselves, and even get help if need be, to overcome these problems to increase the quality of life for ourselves and others around us. For example, being an alcoholic is bad, Gene. We certainly shouldn't hide it, as that's not addressing the problem, but we shouldn't make room for it. We get some help to fix it.
But Aloe, you're missing the point of the message. May is hiding her true self from her mother and allowing her mother to dictate her life in order to stay in her mom's good graces and show she loves and respects her mom. May doesn't want her mom to know that she isn't her mom's perfect picture of the perfect daughter.
I hear what you're saying, but it's that word bad that's ruining the message for me. And while we're at it, Let's talk about May. May being a quirky teen who wants to goof around with her friends and live her best teen life is cool and all, and I definitely respect that. But I think everyone is forgetting a teeny tiny insignificant little detail. She turns into a giant panda that can literally maim people. Did you not see how badly she scratched up Tyler? With her claws and fangs, she could have easily killed him. May clearly has a temper, so is it the best idea to let her keep this power?
But Aloe, now that May and her mom are on good terms and her mom accepts her daughter's imperfections, there's no more reason for May to go rage mode on anyone.
What? That's not how that works. May is emotional, and just because everything is nice now doesn't mean something else won't stress her out later.
But Aloe, May could learn to better control her emotions and use her powers to benefit society.
Oh sure, I guess she could, but I don't know, it just feels off to me. Whether she means to or not, she can lose control and seriously hurt someone. Like, how many people have to get hurt until she 100% controls it? Regardless of that fact, the movie never really suggested in any big, obvious, plot-driven way that May wanted to use her panda for anything other than hanging out and having a good time. So that benefiting society argument doesn't work because that's the premise of a different movie altogether. The movie we've got is about May learning that she shouldn't have to adhere to her mother's unrealistic expectations of her, not about May learning to control her powers for the greater good. In any case, movie, your moral, while nicely intended, gets kind of lost when the thing you're trying to suppress is a dangerous creature, not so much your love of a boy band or your friend group that your mom doesn't approve of. Speaking of her mom, I feel for Ming, I really do. In fact, she might be my favorite character in the movie. I sympathize with her situation as a teen, and I feel bad for what she went through. I understand the pain of a strict parent holding you back from doing what you want to do or being who you want to be. I've lived part of that life. However, if I turned into a gigantic red panda, or any animal for that matter, with anger issues that could destroy cities, then I think it's pretty justified if my mother wanted to seal it away forever. I don't know, guys. I just can't hop on board with this movie. It makes me uncomfortable, and the message is too muddied, in my opinion. For everyone who enjoys this movie, I'm glad you do. And for everyone who finds the relatability in this movie super refreshing, then awesome. But it's a hard pass for me. So, Turning Red, what do you guys think of this film? Did I bring up any points that interested you? Comment below and let's get this conversation started. Once again, I am the artistic Aloubell, and if you want to hear me review, rant, and rewrite other movies or series, then subscribe and/or click on one of the videos you see here. As for now, that's all there is. There isn't any more.